All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ryan here, Mista Rau's Gaming. It's another lovely Tuesday evening here. What am I talking about? It's Saskatchewan. It's not lovely outside. Oh my gosh, it is freezing. What was our high today? Wind chill. It's like minus like a billion. I think we would get to like minus 42, minus 43 degrees Celsius. It was terrible out. It was absolutely miserable. But what better way to stay warm than it is to play some games? All right. Oh, yes. Let's just play some games this evening type thing. Try to get our mind off of that cold. Holy smokes. Oh boy, okay, a little bit. Oh, hey, there he is. There's Mr. Tyler in the chat here. He says, hey y'all, it was minus 22 Fahrenheit wind chill here in Wisconsin. Brutal. You know what? I think that's just ever so slightly. That's a bit warmer. That's a bit warmer. I'd probably take that. I'd probably take that over what we had here today. It was yay. And yeah, of course, today, why not? In the middle of this freezing, deep freeze we've got going on here, let's start off our teacher job actions this week. Today was our very first strike day that we taken against the government here, and oh my goodness gracious, we froze our butts off in the protest. Hopefully we get a better contract and better things happening in our education system, because things are not going great. So we hopefully a quick resolution is on the horizon. And thank you, Tyler. He says, yes, sorry to hear about all that. Hope things are working out for you all. We hope so too. Hopefully today's demonstration was enough power to bring the government back to the bargaining table, and hopefully we can continue things so that we can get things back with our students. That's where I'd rather be, instead of in the minus bazillion degrees outside not teaching. Oh, and there is Mr. Vincent himself. He says, go teachers go. Absolutely. All of those people that are in power got there somehow because they had teachers in their lives at some point in time. So let's just throw that little nugget out there. Let's do a quick couple updates in Mista Rau Gaming Land. He says, we had stoppage here also in the autumn. Yes, I think we had heard about that. I think there's lots of our current negotiations are based on the work that the teacher unions did out there in Quebec. So hopefully we can have a quick resolution. Few things happening in Mista Rau Gaming Land. Stay tuned tomorrow to all your favorite podcatchers, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, everything else, for episode 2 of the Talking Tabletop podcast is going to be coming out. Very excited for that episode. Just got a couple last little minute edits that I'm going to do right after the stream here, and then those will be all available. That episode will be available to you all tomorrow morning. And yeah, and then a few updates on some acquisitions that have come into play. Well, I haven't actually physically received them yet, but I had some credit down at Board Game Bliss, which is, I believe, is based in Ontario. Did manage to snag a couple of games that came into stock, and I've been really excited to maybe try to get them. First one is Evacuation by Vladimir Suhi. Really love his designs, and I've heard great things about Evacuation, so I'm going to be getting that one. And then I saw that they finally got back in stock Revive. And so I'm going to be I picked up Revive as well in that order. So those are on their way. Should be, I would say that they should be here relatively soon, perhaps by even the end of this week. So hopefully keep our fingers crossed on those ones. I got just before I just checked the mail and everything, and I realized that I got another review copy game in from Pandasaurus Games, and there's a little game called Nyar. I think that's how it's pronounced. Knarr. It's kind of like a Viking themed kind of card game. I know that it's available on Board Game Arena, but I got a review copy sent from them. So I am looking really, really forward to playing through that and creating some content for the channel or revive around that game. It's got the Vincent seal of approval here. He says Knarr is great. So okay. I will take that word for it. Usually Vincent and I's tastes in games line up really, really quite well. So I'm excited to actually get that one tried out. What else? My kids and I have actually really rediscovered our love of a small children's game. Well, I guess it's not really a children's game, but it can be played with kids. Is it over here? Oh, it is on the shelf. It's not upstairs. Oh. You saw some social media posts of me, and we've been playing Tic Tac Moo, designed by Jay Cormier and Sen Foon Lim, a couple Canadian designers. And it is based off of, if you think of this, it sounds like Tic Tac Toe. It does have like a Tic Tac Toe element to it. So it's really, really fun, abstract, little like chit placement type of game. So I really, 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 really enjoy it. So we've been playing a lot of that one lately around here. Oh, throw that one back in there. What else has been? Oh wait. And Tyler says that one makes me think of Battle Sheep, another family-friendly, easy game. I don't know. I don't think I know anything about Battle Sheep. I might have to look that one up. And Vincent says, what is the age recommendation on that one? I believe it says, oh gosh, it says 8 and up. But my youngest boy, who just turned 6 today, happy birthday, dude, if you're watching this after the fact, he just turned 6 today, and he's able to play the game really quite easily. It is a very simple, action-wise, like what you are doing on your turns is actually very, very simple. Strategy-wise, I can see why they say that it says 8 and up. But it's a fantastic game, and it advertises a 15-minute play length, and that's probably right around that 10 to 15 minutes for a gameplay if you're not thinking too much about your turns. And you know what, little dude, happy birthday from Vincent as well. If you're watching this after the fact, I know they like to do that sometimes. So we had a really busy day, birthday plans. Vincent, 15 minutes for kids is perfect, which, talking all about this, stay tuned to tomorrow's, Talkin' Tabletop podcast, because I might be, spoiler alert, I might be discussing something to do with family games in my little talk segment. So, be prepared for that. What else is going on around here? Not a whole heck of a lot. I've watched a couple videos lately. D20 Woodworking and Nelson All Over Cards, they released some videos lately about how they set up their streaming setups and their video recording setups. I know Vincent's a really big component, likes the behind the scenes. They gave us some behind the scenes looks. I think I might do the same thing around here, just in case if anybody's really interested on how the whole shebang kind of comes together. And they gave some really great recommendations on some things that I might try to pick up or look for, because I think they gave some quality of life improvement suggestions that I think that I might try this year if I can gather enough funds in order to purchase them for the channel. Vincent, definitely go look at them. D20s just came out not that long ago, and I want to say Nelson All Over Cards, I think his video came out just kind of like at the end of last week. maybe a week ago today or something like that. I find that stuff very interesting as well, just because as a fellow content creator type person, I just like to see how everybody else managed to do things, and what are they spending their hard-earned. Now they are a little bit more professional than me. Like I've got my, yeah, like how do you find the audio editing versus video editing? Let me just say, audio editing is far more tedious than it is for the video editing. I'm gonna say that just flat out, just like that. Cutting out the cutting out the pauses, trying to make sure my podcast is a whole bunch of segments. Like, it's a whole bunch of different content creators submitting segments. And of course, they all have various levels of audio experience and recording capabilities. So trying to match audio levels so that one person doesn't come in really, really, really loud and the next segment is really, really, really quiet, requires a little bit of balancing. And there are some people that try to do a little bit of editing. They did a little bit of editing ahead of time, and I still have to try to clean up some pauses, some long pauses, or some button clicks, or some background noise, and have to try to clean some of those things up. Vincent says, "Ooh, I didn't think about the levels." I try my best. Again, I'm not going to get it perfect. By far, it's not going to be the most. It's not definitely the most professional podcast out there, but I do try my best and try to balance all of those things out, just so that one person's not going to blow out somebody's eardrums because the previous segment was too quiet, so that you had to turn up your radio dial or turn up your volume, and then the next segment comes in and it's this boom, and it's like a lot louder. So that just takes a little bit of time, and of course it's also the fading ins and the fading outs and all that jazz. So yeah, a lot of things a lot of things that I've been learning about for just for podcasting sakes type thing. Yeah, that's it. For video editing, for myself, I am the firm believer of what you see is what you get type of editing. So I have tried to master the art of the one take edit. If I can't do it with one take, I just try to redo it, so that I try to minimize any editing possibilities at all. So that's why I have my Stream Deck here for all of the control the animations of switching in, switching out, bringing effects up on the screen, sound effects coming out and stuff like that. So I try to master the what you see is what you get method of gameplay. And I've heard some people say they really like that about some of my videos, is that there are no edits. They truly believe that it's a true gameplay experience. They don't know they know that I haven't modified the decks or modified my turns in any ways. When I'm thinking through my turns, you kind of generally feel how I think through my turns. So I don't know. It's working for me. Some people seem to really enjoy it, and if people are enjoying it, cool. That's awesome. We're well over 500 subscribers now on the channel. I believe today we've hit about 512 so far. So we're gonna slowly nickel and dime our way to 1,000. Who knows how long we're ever gonna get there? But if some people are enjoying the channel, I see that the watch hours keep going up and up and up every day. The more views on old stuff come every now and then. So you know what? I enjoy doing this stuff. Like I said, this is not a profession for me. This is just a hobby. I get to share my hobby with everybody else that enjoys board gaming hobbies. So it's just all icing on the cake at this point. Oh, okay. Well, that was a long ramble about just a whole bunch of things like that. So, yeah, maybe if people are interested in it, I'll try to put together a video somehow of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on here. By all means, if you're interested, because this is just a very amateur setup that I have got going on here. There are a couple dollars that have been spent for everything that goes on in the background here, but definitely not as much as most other people have probably put in to their into their setups type thing. Tyler says, enjoy the content, even if it's just about learning new games. Well, thank you. And that has always been one thing that I've really enjoyed to do, is try to bring in a very wide variety of different styles of games, because I am a bit of an omni gamer myself. I do like trying to play a little bit of everything from really simple card games to heavy in-depth games. I want to try to explore more complex board games onto the channel now that I have more space to try to be able to work with. I do want a better camera though, but than my phone, because as some of the bigger setups happen, the camera has to go farther away, and therefore I lose detail on the on the maps. So I do want to, that's probably the main thing that I'm looking to upgrade. The first thing is trying to get a crisper camera for so that when I have to move the camera farther away, that I don't lose the detail in the gaming setups. Vince here says, just want to say that it is cool you are doing this. You make it look easy when I know it isn't. Oh my gosh, that could be the motto of my life. I try to make things look easy, even though there's been many hours of research and YouTube University that has went on in the background over the past, I don't even know what coming up this April will be 2 years. For video content for myself. So so many things have went into the background for this one. So it takes guts to put yourself out there like that. I think I just come by it naturally, since I'm a teacher by trade and profession. So it's a lot easier for me to, I don't know, quote unquote, perform for other people. If you would have asked high school Mr. Rau, high school Ryan, about doing stuff like this, you would have gotten laughed in your face, because I hated presentations. I hated putting myself out there. I was really quite shy and reserved. And now, during university, when I decided I wanted to do this as a profession, but was scared, I was terrified of what I would actually end up having to do. It took some classes on how to just reduce that anxiety and be prepared and be able to not stutter and stuff like that. So it even back then, I was still just training just to do what I do, I guess. So all right. Well, I think that's enough about an update on the channel for right now. I would say let's hop on over to the gameplay of what we are going to feature today. I guess I can do that. I guess before I even do that, I guess if you're watching this right now, that we're putting likes on these videos, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and the notification bell is there if you want to get notified for new videos and live streams when they come out. Tyler here is saying, I was the same way, and then in college I went to the student-run radio station and started broadcasting. Hey, that's awesome. See, our stories aren't so different, and I'm glad that we are able to connect with people as well, because yeah, it was those college years where I kind of really broke out of my shell and really turned into the personality that you kind of see right now and today. Let's hop on over into the gameplay area here, where I am all starting to get all set up for a game of what's referred to as Boblin's Rebellion, which is a kind of a neat little card game where we have these kind of like these square-based cards, and it is brought to us by Phase Shift Games, and this is designed by Alexandros Kapadakis. Oh, I apologize for how I pronounced that. This has been provided to me as a review copy from, I believe his name is Jason Mysili from Phase Shift Games, which I believe he is credited in the rule book here as the game developer. Yeah, Jason Mysili, game development and art design. And yeah, this was one of the first review games I've received in a while. And so, yeah, so I thought I would take the opportunity to produce the content for Boblin's Rebellion tonight. And in the chat here, it looks like Vincent and Tyler are talking about student radio and broadcasts in college. That is so cool and so much fun. He's like saying, ended up doing some sports broadcasting after college for a while, but it didn't pay the bill, so I had to give. Yeah, unfortunately, the darn Uncle Sam has to come into our lives, and we have to pay for all of our things. Yeah, so let's take a look at Boblin's Rebellion here, because this is kind of like an interesting little card. It's essentially, it's a card-based game, but I would also call it a worker placement game, which means I have a big tray of these goblin cubes. As you can kind of see, they're kind of heat transfer. There's little goblin faces on them. We got a whole bunch of these goblin cubes that we are going to end up taking actions on these various cards in the name of scoring some victory points. And essentially, it's a race game as well. We have our little player board over here. And if I haven't mentioned, this game plays 1 to 4 players. And at the very bottom of this player board, you can see that there is this crown that they call the fame track. And it's a race to get to 27 fame points. And you can kind of see here that there's a whole bunch of things that are going on this board. But essentially, in Boblin's Rebellion, we are playing as the roles of Boblin and his recruits here, trying to recruit as many of these different types of goblin personalities in order to rise up a rebellion against the Goblin King. And whoever can be the most famous way in doing such, so we are going to be the victorious one, and our army is going to lead against the Goblin King himself. So, and welcome to the chat here, Snazu. Welcome back to the chat here. We are just going to get going with a game of Boblin's Rebellion, which has been provided to me as a review copy from Phase Shift Games. Now, I'm just going to set things up, and then we are going to get into the gameplay. We have these various decks of cards, and these various decks of cards are going to do a whole bunch of different things for us over the course of the game. These things have already been shuffled, and in a solo game, which I'm going to show off for us tonight here, in a solo game, we're kind of also racing against the clock of these decks. If one of these decks ever runs out of cards, then the game has ended. If we have not got to 27 fame points by the time one of these decks of cards runs out, we have lost. And to start this off is, before you do anything, you're supposed to discard 3 cards off the top of each of these decks. So essentially, each deck had 27 cards in it, so we are only going to have 24 cards in each of these decks in a solo game. So I'll take 3 off the top of that one, I'll take 3 off the top of this one, and I'll take 3 off the top of this one. So there we go. So we've essentially created 3 24-card decks, and now we are going to reveal 3 cards from each of the decks. So 1, 2, and 3. This first set of rooms here, these are referred to as the lava rooms. I guess I can spread them out a little bit here. And these rooms are mostly the ways that you're going to score your points, or your fame points, throughout the course of the game. And I will kind of highlight it here. As you can see on the left-hand side of the thing, it tells me which types of goblins I'm going to need in order to score those particular victory points. And those symbols are resembled on the right-hand side of my player aid. So they call them Stalkers, Slingers, Sparklers, and Stabbers. And then also we have Screamers and Sticklers. So eventually we're going to have to try to grab certain types of goblins in order to activate the actions on these cards. And in the top corners tells me what type of goblins I need in order to actually enter or acquire the rights to that particular room. Next level of cards. The next level of cards here is, I can't remember exactly what they call these ones. Are these ones kind of like the mine shafts? of the room, and these cards are mostly the ways that you will actually acquire your different various types of goblins. Let's just say like this one right here, I can trade in a, oh gosh, what is this, a stickler for a stabber or a sparkler. This one here says I can trade in 2 sticklers for 2 stabbers. So these cards are the main way that you will actually acquire your different types of goblins. And I believe the ones on the right-hand side here, the Stalkers, Slingers, Sparklers, Stabbers, those 4, I believe they refer to them as trained goblins. So this is the main way that you're actually going to acquire those trained goblins. And then in the Ice Caves deck, I'm going to reveal these ones. These ones are kind of more, you acquire them and they kind of provide you with some passive abilities. Whereas, let's just say like this one here, it says every time that you acquire a Screamer, you also get a Stabber type thing. This one says it's kind of like the same thing. If every time that you acquire a Screamer, you also get a Slinger type of gameplay. There are some cards in here that are absolutely useless in a solo game because they require every time that you're this one here. I'll just hold it up here. The one icon here has like arrows going left and right, and that says when your neighbor does a certain action, you get that benefit. So of course, in a solo game, I have no neighbors. So this card actually is absolutely useless to me, other than it kind of clogs up a spot in the purchasing row for us. Now, we're going to acquire these rooms so that we can send our goblins to convert into different other goblins, train them into other goblins, and then hopefully spend them so that we can score some victory points. Now, these actions don't last forever. Notice that at the bottom of all of the cards that there are these kind of like this red track eventually ending in an X. What this is that these particular cards can only be used, like this one here, can only be used 1, 2, 3 times, and then this card is actually gone. I can't use it anymore. It's going to be just, they call it, if that room has been destroyed. The types of goblins that have been running and using this room have absolutely destroyed it, and now it is rendered useless and incapacitated, so you can't actually use it anymore. This one can only be used twice, because when you acquire the room, you're just going to put one of these goblin cubes on the leftmost space, and then every time that it gets used, it's going to move until it gets to the X spot, and then that room is destroyed. It's kind of a neat little aspect to the game. Now, if you're just going to play just the standard game of Boblin's Rebellion, you would just be using these 3 decks of cards, and you would just be using this flipped side of the player aid. It's got a little bit less stuff going on, and it's a little bit more basic. However, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, or you want to play the game a little bit more with some advanced rules, which I'll add right now, aren't as advanced, but if say like this side and just playing with just these 3 decks of cards would be much more family friendly than with these other effects in the gameplay. On this side if you're playing with this side, you're introducing what's referred to as the troll cubes, and there's this extra set of cubes here that have a little troll face on them, and every now and then when you score 4 fame, gonna put this back up here, every time that you score 4 fame, you're gonna have to put a troll cube onto your player board, essentially adding some sort of negative effect to your gameplay, restricting the number of types of goblins that you can have, restricting some card abilities, making cards more expensive and stuff like that. So that's kind of a neat little aspect that you can deal with into that. And another aspect of the game that you can include are the hero cards. which I am going to play with because they are ever so really cool. And in order to acquire a hero card, you need to have at least two different types of rooms, and they have to have been destroyed. They would have been used up, and if you've used them up, then you can actually acquire a hero. And they have various abilities on them, so we'll cover those. Every single hero in the game is a little bit different. Which I'm just going to add right now here is I don't think that I actually discard 3 cards off the top of the hero deck. Let's just see here. Game setups. Bear starting with 1 stickler, then discard 3 room cards from each of the dungeon deck. Yeah, so these ones aren't room cards, so we don't discard off this one. And this one's not a game end trigger for the solo game. It's only just these room cards. Once we've run out of room cards, then we are done. And so Snezu says, don't have goblins for roommates, I guess. Yeah, no, they just kind of run rampant and they kind of destroy things. And I'm assuming they also kind of eat you out of house and home and smell funny. Oh, wait, I think I'm describing teenagers. That was a really bad joke, but also not far from the truth for us. Okay, well, I am thinking that I've kind of gave us a general overview of what's going on here. Now, to set up the game, we do start. I'm actually just thinking of where am I going to put this this player board so that I have a little bit easier access to it. I think people can still see it if I put it right here. And then I still have some room to build out my room tiles up, my room cards up here. I do start off with 1 Stickler goblin, so I'll put it right there. And we are ready to begin the gameplay. Now, I have to mention that we have 2 actions that we can use on our turn. And those actions can be the same action or they can be different actions. As of right now, we only have, at the very beginning, since I don't have a room card available to me, so I cannot do a room action. Room actions would just be to use one of the conversions on that room, so that would be an action. Otherwise, printed on the left side of my player board here is a whole bunch of actions that I can take. One of the main basic actions you can do is either add 3 sticklers to your board or 2 screamers to your board. And as you can see, most of the costs are either going to be sticklers or screamers for our costs. Every now and then, if it has a question mark on it, that requires us to have a trained goblin, so one of the other 4 types, in order to purchase it. So like this one right here requires us to have a trained goblin, which is really quite unfortunate because that would have been a really nice card to have, but it's most likely because at the end of our 2 actions, at the end of every one of our 2 actions, the rightmost column of cards, room cards, are going to get discarded. And therefore, that is our timer. So essentially, we kind of have only have 24-ish turns for the game. All right, well, let's start it going, and hopefully we get a gist of what's happening in Boblin's Rebellion. Let's get those like as Vincent mentioned over here. Looks like we have the gang going on here, and they all start with the S. We got the Sticklers, the Screamers, the Stalkers, the Slingers, the Sparklers, and the Stabbers. Interesting. Okay. Well. I'm going to take a look here and see what kind of point-getting cards. Because the name of the game is Boblin's Rebellion, but essentially it's a race to get to, I guess I better put a cube down here just to track my points here, is to get to 27 fame before the decks of the cards run out. So I think my very first action is going to be, I do like the fact of this one. I'm looking at the fact of this one just to kind of give me a way to actually start grabbing some points early on. I am going to spend 1 stickler. So I'm going to spend my 1 stickler here, and I'm going to grab this card right off the bat here, because it says that I can spend any two trained goblins for 2 points. And if I spent a screamer at the same time, I could actually grab another 2 points. So if it's for 3 goblins, 4 points is not a bad conversion for this particular game. So I'll put a tracking cube on that one, and that can only be used 3 times, but that is also very, very handy. When I bought that one, this one should slide over, and I will refill that spot. And now that I don't have any goblins yet, I'm actually going to take another action here, and my other action is going to be for grab myself 3 sticklers. So that's just one of my printed actions on my board. So I'm going to grab myself 3 sticklers so that I can probably acquire another card and start converting them into more goblins. Okay, so there we go. 2 turns. Bada bing, bada boom. Very quick, very fast. And now these other tracks are we're going to advance the rooms. So these 3 are going to get discarded. I'll just kind of discard them into their separate piles over here. We will move them over. Everything else is going to move over, and we will refill the card rows. There we go. And of course, I am really good at just making messes of decks, and these are not lined up at all with my other rows. That really drives me. Am I the only one that drives nuts? You have to have your components kind of nicely splayed out onto the game table. Am I crazy? Am I kind of like, I don't know, it's not the joke about, but are you kind of like obsessive compulsive in that regard? Because I don't know, maybe it's just for yes, drives me crazy with OCD as well. Yeah, and maybe it's also I'm trying to make things look nice for the video and for the screen. Snazu says it's also totally normal in my opinion. Okay, just throwing it out there. Okay, so that was the end of my first set of actions, and so now I am going to is this, let me take a look at this one. Is this wow. You get for 3 goblins, you get screamer. Wow, that one seems really good. It's really expensive, but it seems really, really good as well. So I don't, but a few of my friends are nice target for me to try. Nice. You and Norm would get along very well with that one, Vincent. Yes. Okay. I think I am going to one of those passive ones would be really nice to have, but I can't afford them right now. So I think I will grab this card right here. I'm going to have to spend 2 sticklers to grab it, and I'll add that one to my tableau here. And I'll add a cube to track its thing. So I have to spend 2 sticklers and a trained goblin, and I get 3 other goblins in return. It seems to be really nice. Oh my goodness gracious. There's another nice. I found that most of the cards in this game really good. They're really nice to have. Really, really, really nice to have. Okay, so one action was to do that, and now I think I am going to need I'm going to need some other I'm going to need some other cards here as well in order to do some training, do some of this converting. So you know what? I think I'm just going to grab another, just as I'm looking here, I'm going to grab another 3 sticklers as my second action once again. There we go. 2 actions are done. So these ones are all going to get discarded. Things are going to move down, and refill. So most of the game is just kind of taking those 2 actions and then, well, at least the solo game is then refilling this particular row. Now let's see here. I do need a trained goblin in order to trigger that effect. So let's try to grab ourselves another card here to give us some trained goblins. And right here, there we go. There's another nice card for us right now. Let's take it because, and these ones are actually also really, really nice cards. So they have some nice passive abilities on it, but I do have some time to grab those ones. So I think I'm going to grab this one right here. I'm going to spend 1 of my sticklers and grab it. Add a tracking cube to that card as well. Refill the row. And I think that I'm actually going to trigger it. So my second action is I'm going to trigger this one, and I'm going to take 2 of my sticklers, and I'm going to turn them into sparklers. So I'm just going to put them right here, and I'll just track them like that just by putting 2 cubes into my sparkler area. So there are my, and then I've used this card conversion ability once, so I have to move this cube over 1. And that's the way that that works. So there we go. There was 2 actions on that turn. So again, we're just going to take these cards off, shift on down. As you can see, turns go by quickly. Things go by really. These decks of cards do not last very long in my, whoa boy. I don't know what that one looks like. We'll just put it right there. These cards are, since they are quite brand new, they are really quite slippery. Okay. And I understand why they used kind of like these square-based cards. It's kind of it's a nice aesthetic. They could have just used regular playing cards. It would have probably done the exact same effect. Probably got the exact, because you notice that most of the card is actually not being used. It's kind of got some effect, but really it's only just like a little chunk here, a little chunk here, a little cost, and there's like a big empty space on each of the cards, which, I don't know, a little bit of wasted opportunity. They could have probably made things just a little bit larger on the cards. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I've played a lot of games. We probably could have had like nice standard sized cards for this game. But the card quality, very, very nice. Very, very nice in this game. Okay, well, what am I going to do now with my next turn here? Well, I could actually, you know what? I have 2 trained goblins now. I just don't have any screamers. I could try to actually trigger this particular card this particular turn. I just have to get a couple screamers as one action, and then I could trigger this card on this action. Let's just see if there's anything in this row here that we can try to acquire first, so that things are not going to get an opportunity is not going to be lost for us. Doesn't really look like it for us. So you know what? One action is we are going to grab ourselves a couple of screamers as the first action. Okay, and that was the very first action here. And now I'm actually going to trigger this card ability. The very first top part of the ability says, hey, spend 2 trained goblins, which I have, these 2 sparklers. And in addition, if you want to, you could spend a screamer as well, which I will. So I spend my 3 goblins, and it says I'm going to score 4 fame points for that, and I've used this card once. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I've scored 4 fame points, I actually have to put down a troll cube onto my board to see what do I not want. And you know what? I think I will just cover up so that right now I'll just limit myself on my slingers and my stabbers. Now I can get rid of this troll cube. There is an action here. It says spend any trained goblin to get rid of the troll cube and score yourself 2 fame points. But right there, boom, I've got myself my 4 fame points right off the bat for that one. And I am now off to my races. So I got my couple screamers and did that. That's my 2 actions. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. And go over and over. Over and over. And again, if you are wondering how the heck do I acquire those hero cards at the very bottom here, I need to have 2 destroyed rooms, and it has to be 2 different types of destroyed rooms in order to acquire one of those heroes. And Draglinkin looks like he's a pretty cool one. He's got an ability here that every time that a room gets destroyed, I get 2 extra actions for the turn, and that seems like it would be well worth it. This one over here just says that anytime that I acquire 6 trained goblins in a turn, I can score 3 fame points. And of course, some of these are also just worth fame points right off the bat. Okay. Well, what am I looking at to do next here? Again, there's another one of those neighbor cards. Not really useful, but anytime that I grab a stickler, I can also get a... Those ones seem to be really good. And I think I have enough to actually acquire one of them right now. This one says requires a screamer and a stickler, so does this one. So I think, yeah, let's acquire one of them. Which one should I acquire? This one's going to go away, and I can't even, okay. For my first action, I'm going to grab a stickler and a screamer, and I am going to acquire this ice cave card. Sure, I'll just put it right here. Mark it with a cube. So every time that I grab myself anytime that I gain sticklers, I also gain 1 stalker. That seems to be pretty darn good. So there's my first action. These are going to slide over. And my second action is probably going to have to replace... you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to grab myself 3 sticklers. 1 and 2 and 3. We'll just do it that way. There's my second action. There we go. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. These ones go away. So as you see, the gameplay, very quick, very simple for a solo game. In regular multiplayer games, you do not do this action of removing the side card. This is the game timer in a solo game where that rightmost column gets discarded. Because once one of these decks runs out of cards, my game is going to be over. So hopefully I've hit 27 points by the time that has happened. So hopefully I can start building up some engines to start converting into some more victory points. Okay, well. Okay, wait, sorry, I forgot. Then when I grab my sticklers, I should have triggered this once to grab myself 1 stalker. See, I already messed that one up. I already messed up my side ability here. Okay, because now I can Sure. I think that I can trigger one of my abilities. I can either trigger this ability or I can trigger this ability. This one grabs me a screamer, stalker, and a slinger. I think I could do that. This one just grabs me 2 sparklers, which is actually not bad either. Just kind of gets me going on that one and gets me closer to a destroyed room. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to trigger this room again. So I'm going to grab 2 sparklers. And I'm going to turn those in, sorry, 2 sticklers and turn them into sparklers here. So I triggered that room again. So it just has to be triggered once more and it's destroyed. And I've lost the ability for that one. But now I think my second action, let me just make sure that I don't have anything else going on here that I could possibly use. Ooh, that's another nice, really point getting card. And so is that one. Oh gosh, but that one requires the slinger and I don't have that. This one just requires this one's actually really quite nice for us too. Ooh, and this one's going to go away. I think I will, do I grab it right now? Yay. Oh gosh. What do I do? Yes, let's grab it. So I'm going to spend it and we will grab that card right away so that it can be added to my tableau. Okay, perfect. Let's, that was 2 actions. So we'll get rid of all our cards and slide things over. And away we go. Refill, and refill. Side of the box is advertising that a standard game of Boblin's Rebellion lasts about 40 minutes. And you know what? From my gather and play, as you can kind of see, it takes a bit to build up some of these engines and gain some of those points. So 40 minutes is actually not out of the question for these particular games. Just kind of letting you know that it's kind of and you know what, 40 minutes is it's not bad, it's not terrible, but it does take a little bit longer than I would like for a game of this type of weight and complexity. On that note, let's try to do some things here. I'm going to do one action first, is to grab some screamers first. And hey, Dan, DNix7 is in the chat here. Welcome to the chat. We are playing a little bit of Boblin's Rebellion, which is a kind of a neat little worker placement resource conversion type of game in order to race to 27 fame. And I've already taken one action this particular turn, and I think I'm ready to take my second action, which is I'm going to trigger this card right here, where I'm going to spend my 2 sparklers and a screamer. I'm going to spend all 3 of them to score another 4 fame points. So 1, 2, 3, 4 fame points, which is going to add another troll. Piece to my board, which I wasn't actually thinking about, but I think that I will add it to, oh, sorry, I triggered that card, so boom, right there. And I think I'll just add it right here. I'm going to plan to get rid of it right away here. But that was my second action on that turn, so I will now discard these rightmost cards. Dan saying 27 points, eh? Seems a little random. That does seem like a very random number, but hopefully from things that I've learned about game design in my conversations with people and everything, 27 probably seemed like the right number for what they were aiming for, hopefully, and was not random. Okay, well, there we go with that. So I think my very first thing that I am going to do here is I am going to spend, I'm just kind of keeping track of what's kind of going on here. There are some really good point getting cards kind of coming out here. But I am going to keep cognizant of my cards here because they are getting worn down. Oops, I forgot to put something on this one. They are kind of getting worn down a little bit, so I am going to need to replace them very, very, very soon. And there are some really good There are some really good point getting cards coming out here that I think. Could it be related? So could it be related to that there were 27 cards per deck? You know what? Maybe. That was also something very interesting that I had learned. Yeah, there are exactly 27 cards in each of the room decks, which I have to be cognizant of here because they have went down tremendously in each of these decks. So my timer is running out, and I've only scored 8 out of the 27 fame points. Okay, well, let's keep the good times rolling here. So I don't think I've actually taken an action yet this turn, have I? I think I wanted to get rid of a troll card, though. I think. So I think I'll spend a... Well, okay, I have to spend my 1 trained goblin, and I'm going to take away this troll off my board, and every time that you take off a troll, you get 2 fame points, so I'm up to 10 now. And my second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself 3 more. I'm going to grab myself 3 more sticklers. That is one of the actions that I can do. 3 more sticklers. And every time that I grab a stickler, where is it here? Every time that I got sticklers, I should get myself a stalker. So I will do that. Okay, perfect. And I guess there's also another action that I have. Okay, wait, that was 2 actions. Before I do this, before I start talking again, I'll just reset for the next current set of actions here. There is an action that I haven't talked about yet. And it's an action that I don't take very often, or I don't know if I ever taken this action. I'm just trying to think right now. And that is this kind of like this middle action right here, where it is this, I believe they refer to it as the scout action. Let me just make sure that I got the terminology correct here. Yeah, it is the scout action, where you can actually, if you don't want any of the cards that are in the display here, you can look at the top 3 cards of a particular deck and purchase one right off the bat and add it to your tableau. So that's the scout action. But I find myself actually in the solo game, since these cards get cycled really quite frequently, I don't do the scout action quite very many times in the solo game. Okay, well, I am looking at my abilities here, and I think I am going to do some conversions here. Now let's just take a look at see if there's anything up here that it could actually benefit us before I do these, because look at this one, I'm getting a bunch of stabbers. That seems really kind of cool. This point getting card is really good. If you spend 3 3 trained goblins, you just get 3 points. If they are all different, you get an additional 2 points. So it's a 5-point card for 3 different, but you have to be able to generate the 3 different trained goblins, which is really quite tricky to do if you don't have the right conversion cards. This one actually would have been really neat, but I don't produce enough of the stalkers. But essentially it says how many times can you actually spend. If you can spend just 1, you get 1 point, 2 for 2 points, but 3 for 4 points and 4 for 7 points. Like, that's a really good one to kind of save up for. I digress. I haven't really done anything yet on my turn, but I think that I will trigger this card right here once more. So I will spend my 2 sticklers and turn them into sparklers. So therefore triggering this card for the last time. And now I actually get myself a slinger. And this card is now, boom, done. And I'm just going to keep that just below my board here, as it's one of the cards that I can hopefully save up to purchase one of my heroes. And okay, so I've done that, and now hopefully I think I can do it. I'm going to do it once again here. as I am going to spend 2 sparklers and a screamer for another 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, putting out another troll onto my board, which I will just kind of put, I'll just put them up here for the time being, but that also is the last use of that card, and I get a stabber for that one. And this one has now been destroyed, and now I have 2 different destroyed cards for myself. Nice. And now I've met myself, I got 14 out of my 27 points, and I think I'm sitting okay right now. Okay, that was 2 actions. Let's get rid of some of these cards here. Shifting on things down. Shifting things down. As I'm refilling, I'm just going to remind everybody that the episode 2 of the Talkin' Tabletop podcast is going to be coming out tomorrow. And if you're watching this after the fact, please go to your favorite podcatcher of choice, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or whatnot, and search up Talkin' Tabletop podcast. Or there is also a link that I think there is also a podcast tab now on YouTube. You can also listen to the podcast then. Really, really quite fun show. Dan, who is in the chat right now, is graciously donated some of his time to submit some segments for the podcast, and really, really good stuff. Definitely don't want to miss that out on those conversations. Okay, well, I am taking a look at what can I do and what do I want to do. I realize this one requires sparklers now, and this one requires sparklers, and I have no way of actually generating sparklers. So I think I am going to... I think I want this card because it actually generates sparklers for me. So I think I'm going to do this one. So the first thing that I do need to do, though, is that I need to grab myself a couple of sticklers. And since I grab myself a stickler, I also get myself a stalker. And that's the last time that card can get triggered. So this one's going to go away. And that one generates me a sparkler for doing it. Sweet. Now, Angela, how are you doing? She's in the house, girly gamer, the board game gran, everything else, any other tags that we need to know about. Welcome to the chat. We're taking a look at a lovely charming little game called Boblin's Rebellion. 1 to 4 players, plays in about 40 minutes, ages 8 and up, they're saying. So yeah, it's really quite fun. No, she's doing okay. Call me anything. Fantastic. All right. Well, I am looking at... Sorry, what did I do there? I grabbed myself... Oh, right. I grabbed myself some of those so that maybe I can start triggering and gaining myself some things. Oh, right. This one's going to go away really soon. I kind of want this one. So I think my second action is I'm going to grab this card for myself. So I need to spend a stickler and any other trained goblin. So I think I'll spend this stabber, and I'm going to grab this one as well. Grab it as another point getter, because it is really a really nice point getting card. Oh, I needed to actually, because I have this troll on here, I actually needed to spend an extra stickler. Dang it, I forgot about that. Okay. And I think that was my 2 actions for this particular turn. So these are all going to go away. These are going to slide on over. Just like that. And we will refill. Okay, decks are starting to get a little thin, so let's just hopefully we can convert some of these points so that we don't run out of time. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to trigger this one right away because I can do it. If I spend 3 trained goblins, which I do have, I have some slingers, sparklers, and stalkers, and if I spend 3 different, I get an extra, so I get to score 5 points for doing that. So I think right off the bat, I think my very first action is I'm going to spend 1 stalker to get rid of this troll. Because that's going to bring in 2, that's going to give me 2 victory points. That's going to bring in a troll. And I'm going to put that troll on this space instead. And now I am going to activate this card 1 time by spending my 3 trained goblins for 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Crossing another threshold for another goblin. Oh my gosh, I got so many goblins all over my board here. Just trying to think of where I need to put them. Let's go right there. That could actually be a source of victory points for me. That is 1, 2, 3. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually 6 victory points if I can get rid of those trolls, which that's all I need actually to win the game. Let's see if we can actually do it. But I have no way of actually converting my. I actually have no way of actually doing my converting into more people. So let's see what we can do. How many? Oh gosh, chat. I'm gonna have to rely on you this one. How many actions have I taken this turn? I can't remember. No, I think I've taken 2 actions this turn because I got rid of 1 goblin, and then I activated this card to yeah. So I've done 2 actions this turn. Okay, so I think, oh my gosh, yeah. Yes, yeah, okay, you did say 2 before. Perfect. And yes, Vincent saying, beat the trolls. Beat the trolls. And in order to do that, I need to get some specialty goblins. And now, in order to do that, I need more goblins. Okay, so I think for 1 action. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's see here. Anything else that I need to worry about that can help me out here? These passive ones haven't been really great for the style of game that I've been going for. This one requires trained goblins in order to get certain people. This one just can require, oh my gosh, just like this one, but I need a trained one. Eek. Okay, let's see if I can do any of these guys down here, because I do have enough things that I can All right. Let's try not to delay things anymore. I'm going to spend 1 stickler to grab this conversion card. I could just roll them over just like that and put a cube on it. Therefore, these things are going to shift on down, and this one's going to come over. Let's do it this way, and then this says I can spend a stickler to grab a trained person. Why not, as my second action, is I'm just going to grab a bunch of these guys then. I'm going to grab 3 sticklers for my action there. Oh gosh, wait. When I bought that card, I should have paid an extra 1. So actually I have 1 less one. So actually I only have 3 as my action. Oh, I always forget about this one. Arg! Okay, that was 2 actions. Boom, 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 boom. Oh no, I'm going to run out of time here. I know it. I got a funny feeling. These decks don't seem like they're very large. Okay. So I think I will spend one Stickler and I'll turn it into a Stalker. That was this card. And then I am going to spend 2 Sticklers and a Stalker to grab myself a Screamer, a Stalker, and a Slinger. Just like that. Okay. So that was that card. That was 2 actions. Broof. Do that, and that. Do over and over. Over and over. Okay, how are we feeling, chat? Do you think I'm going to be able to pull it off? Do I do the troll strategy? Do I do the troll strategy? Because I could just go like this. I can go oh wait, maybe I should actually do it this way first. I'm going to grab myself 1, 2, 3 Sticklers as one action. And then I am going to there's too much trolls. All right, easy peasy, you've got this. Positivity, too many trolls. I'm going to spend 2 of these guys and a Stalker to grab myself another Stalker, a Screamer, and a Slinger, like that. Okay, that was I did that one again. So there we go. There was 2 actions. Wait. Was that 2 actions? That was only one, or was that only 1 action? Oh gosh. I grabbed the 3 things at the end of the last turn. Yeah, no, wait, that was only just 1 action. Oh, I am going to do it this way. Yeah, that was only just 1 action. My second action this time is I'm going to turn this Stickler into a Stabber, just like that, triggering that one again. There we go. That's 2. Let's do it this way. There have been a lot of really nice cards that have come by, but I think I'm sticking with my strategy here. Sticking with my strategy because with another, I could actually do this one for 1 action. Yeah, for 1 action, I can spend 3 different types for 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And for my last action is I could spend my last trained goblin to take away a troll, which gets me up to 27 points. Just like that. Boom. Did it. And I did it without actually buying any heroes this time around, which is actually crazy to think about that I didn't actually do it without any buying of the heroes. And I just kind of just stuck with my main point getting cards. I didn't even do this one once. And my resource generations. How many cards did I have left in these decks? This deck only had 4 cards left in it. So I only had 4 turns left to get those victory points. This one also had only 4 cards left in it. This one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one had 6. I didn't actually buy really any of the ice caverns. So I only had 4 turns left. Plenty of time, Tyler says. So do you know what? If you wanted to, you could actually make the game a little bit more difficult if you wish, is you could just discard extra cards at the start. Remember, at the very start of the game, we discarded 3 cards from each of the decks, essentially leaving 24 cards left in each. This suggests that maybe I could try by just maybe discarding maybe an extra 3 cards, maybe discarding 6 cards at the start and seeing if I could actually pull it off once again, or sorry, 4 cards, discarding 4 cards and seeing if I could pull it off again that way. And that is also playing with this troll variant where you can just, you're covering up spaces on your board, so you're restricting some of your resources. And yeah, it's essentially, it's one of those games. It's worker placement, but it's also just converting certain goblins into other goblins, and hopefully grabbing some of those point getting cards in order to grab them. Now, this is one of those games that I think plays probably a little bit better with multiplayers around the table. Very quick 2-player style game where you can actually maybe start taking a advantage of your neighbor, of these neighboring cards type things. Very nice 2-player game. Really no multiplayer solitaire other than trying to other than paying attention to these neighbor cards. Those are the only times that you actually get in the way. Angela here is asking, is it co-op in multiplayer? No, this is a competitive game. If you're playing it multiplayer, where it is still a race to 27 fame points. But you're trying to do that faster than the other players at the table. So yeah, so that is Boblin's Rebellion. It's a really neat, cute little card game. Resource management, worker placement, whatever you want to call it. I apologize that I didn't actually get to show off any of the. I actually didn't get to show off any of the heroes, and there's a nice big stack of the hero cards. And essentially how you get to those hero cards is once you've got a room that's been destroyed, you get to spend 2 of those destroyed rooms and you can acquire a hero. Like this guy says, every time that a room gets destroyed, you get 2 extra actions. Every time that somebody takes an action on a lava room, you get a victory point. Grab 6. If you get 6 trained goblins in a turn, you get 3 points. Anytime that you grab any trained goblin, you get a screamer. Anytime that anybody, including yourself, destroys a mine room, you get a point. Anytime that somebody takes an action on an ice cave, you can either increase or decrease one of the bottom destroy tracks on a room. They're really, 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 really good. That one I'm not 100% sure on. This one you get to change once per turn. You get to change. You can swap. Yeah, you get to swap trained goblins. That's pretty cool. Every time if you destroy 2 rooms, 2 destroy effects, you get 4 points. Wow. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, there's so many really cool abilities. What's that? 4 troll, something about 4 trolls, and you get an extra action. I think if you have 4 troll, it's the half orc. If you have 4 trolls on your board, you get an extra action. Not too terrible. So yeah, the hero cards are really, really quite neat. They would come more handy in a multiplayer game. All right. Well, that is Boblin's Rebellion. Really neat. Thank you, Phase Shift Games, for providing me with this copy of the game to create some content for and to discuss. I like it. It's got a neat little box, too. Excuse me. It's got a neat little box. It's kind of a cube. It's kind of like a cube-shaped box because they do advertise that it is in the kind of like the realm of another game that they've created. I believe the other game they've created is called Dungeon Drop. That's a friendly-sized box as well. Don't think that it's sticking next to your I don't think it's sticking next to your regular games on your tape on your games, but it is kind of neat, and it does fit your square cards very, very, very easily inside of it. Though the stacks of cards, they probably take up about that much of the box. And then your player boards only take up so there's still a good chunk of the box that is not being used as well. So it's actually kind of interesting and awkward. So don't start shaking it. But yeah, I believe they also have another game that has these cubed shaped boxes called Dungeon Drop. I'm just going to pull that up here, really quickly because I think, where's my keyboard? Dang it. Gotta find it here. Oops, backwards. Phase shift games. Just gonna pull it up here really quite quickly. I guess I can switch on over to my face cam for this last little bit. And they have their store. Boblin's Rebellion. You can pre-order it today for 30% off for a limited time. I have a link that's been popping up in the chat every now and then that you can pre-order this game. I didn't realize that it was 30% off for this time frame. So it is advertising at a price of where is it now? It is advertising for a price of 24 Canadian dollar dues is what they are advertising it as at the current moment. But the other game that I wanted to look at, it's here, Dungeon Drop, which seems to be a neat little game about dropping cubes onto a board. And depending on where those cubes kind of land is where you're going to be able to take your actions and stuff like that. So it's an interesting little game that has popped up onto my radar because they say that this game has cards that can be incorporated into Dungeon Drop as well. So I'm kind of interested. I might reach out to Phase Shift Games and see if I can take a look at Dungeon Drop as well. I don't know if Dungeon Drop can play solo though. Let me just take it does say 1 to 4 players as well. 20 minutes, ages 8 and up. So, and the Dice Tower gave it quite accolades. Number 2 family game of the year, Dungeon Drop. Lots of different accolades. So yeah, so you know what? Maybe I might have to take a look at. Maybe I have to take a look at that one as well. But today we took a look at Boblin's Rebellion. If you're interested, take a gander at it. Seems to be quite neat. It fits into this realm of just converting things into other things, in the hopes of scoring a whole bunch of points. Well, folks, I think that, and it looks like, she says, Angela, thank you. She says, thanks for the stream. It was nice to see you again. Thanks for the company, everyone. Yeah, absolutely, Angela. Thanks for stopping by and the support of the channel, as always. And yes, I thank everybody who joins in on the chats and joins for me for these streams. It is absolutely wonderful, the small little community that we've been building over the course of the past couple years. Absolutely enjoying every single little thing that we've been doing for this channel. Tyler says, thanks for the stream. Stay warm. You stay warm, sir, as well in that chilly Wisconsin weather. I'm up here in chilly Saskatchewan. Hopefully things start turning around weather-wise as well because, oh man. And lastly, congrats on the win. I wasn't going to bring anything up, Tyler, on purpose. I promise. He's referring to the Green Bay Packers, the team that I've been cheering for since I was a little boy, and the one team that my family cheers for generations, it seems like. The Green Bay Packers defeated the Dallas Cowboys, Tyler's team, America's team, in the NFL playoffs. It was a shocker. I was shocked. I was not expecting what happened, I think most of anybody who follows NFL football was very shocked of what transpired. So anywho, we're on to San Francisco, and that's going to be, I'll just say it again. I'm not expecting high hopes, and then hopefully things maybe turn out the exact same way. Alrighty, well, I am going to go Pats, who don't have that Mr. Bill Belichick anymore. Oh, Tyler, you used to use the disappointment. What? least you have lots to cheer for during the regular season, I guess. But that's not what we're in for. We need those rings. We want the Super Bowls. We want all of those things. All right, folks, I've got a podcast to do some last minute edits on, so I'm going to call it a night for ourselves tonight. And as always, thank you for watching. If you have not done so already, please put a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and notification bells, good notification bells, so that you get notified when new videos and stuff come out. This upcoming Thursday would have normally been a video, but guess what? You get to see my face lovely again, because Thursday night we're going to be streaming once again, because I have another game that is coming to crowdfunding starting on Thursday, and I'm going to be doing a live stream to kick off that crowdfunding campaign of a solo print and play dungeon crawl experience. Wait, solo print and play roll and write dungeon crawl experience. That's what I was trying to go for. The game's called Caverns. Take a look at it. There will be descriptions on this channel, but hey, see you all on Thursday night. And as always, thank you for watching. Cheers, you all. Good night, everybody.